Don't worry about the hecklers. You got a game to play. Play the game, focus on the next play, and forget about these people up there in the stands. They bought cheap tickets. They're not where you are. So take the game.
And Governor Huckabee, that's what he's been able to do for the last couple days. People say he's back on track, sticking to the script. And here he is hammering Hillary Clinton on foreign policy and the economy. Take a listen.
Hillary Clinton works only for her donors, special interests, and lobbyists. You have lobbyists that have stamped on their forehead, I can produce Hillary. And they're very good. And they raise millions of dollars. Did you see yesterday it was announced that Hillary Clinton got 48 million or so from hedge funds. And Donald Trump got 18,000 from hedge funds, or 19. I'm trying to figure out who they were. I want to give it back. Who is it?
If he stays on message, what happens in the next 90 days?
He wins the presidency. He will win. Look, Hillary Clinton's the most flawed candidate, far more so than Donald Trump. I mean, the corruption. She's got to inherit all the stuff of the Obama administration, some of which she's responsible for.
The press has been pounding him. You know,
yes, and they will continue to pound him.
Right. She got a bounce after her convention. It was just a week ago, and they've been pounding him. The Daily Beast has a headline, race over, essentially is what it says.
Well, they shouldn't be so quick to judge. It's middle of August. We're a long way from the election. But look, Donald Trump's got to put the focus on, and the focus has to be on Hillary Clinton, nothing else. Mm-hmm. He needs to not react to things that are happening. But one of the things that I'm really just confident that he's got to recognize, the press will never be his friend. He needs to wake up every morning, look in the mirror and say, the press is not my friend.
The difference with him is they were, and they stopped, and he has trouble realizing they broke up.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, they gave the ring back. Yes, there's no doubt about it.
No, they're keeping the ring.
Yeah.
Governor, what about the division in the Republican Party right now? And even on the ticket, we saw Governor Pence come out and endorse Ayotte and McCain and Paul Ryan, something that Donald Trump has not done yet. Will he do it? Our Pete Hegseth sat down with Governor Pence and asked about that division and how they're going to repair it, or if they're indeed unified right at the moment. Listen.
Can you speak to these rumors and speculation that there's divides inside the Trump camp, or there's divides inside the Republican Party that are undermining his campaign?
Donald Trump and I are absolutely united in our determination to carry his vision, to make America great again to the four corners of this country.
Is there frustration behind the scenes?
I don't think it's nearly as bad as people say. Look, here's the reality. In every campaign, I'm telling you, every campaign, there's always tension. There's a lot of people who are being hired as a campaign grows and grows very quickly. From different campaigns. There's personality conflict. Let me share something with you. It'll blow your mind. You'll never believe this. There's some ego involved.
No way. Not in politics.
Political campaigns.
Not in TV.
I know that's going to be a shock to you. Break the headline here. Right. But that happens. But I don't see, this falling apart, crumbling thing going on in the Trump campaign. I don't see it.
Two things. Number one, why he doesn't get on Hillary Clinton or release the transcripts of her speeches is for the Wall Street. I don't understand why he dropped the ball there. Number two, for some reason, the military isn't getting communicated to the military that Donald Trump is in their corner, and he's beginning to lose some of that. What is the message that he should get across?
Well, I think he needs to go back to the basic message. He's going to stand for the vets. He's going to be strong for America. We're not going to go into a war if we don't win it. The kind of things that the military people want to know of their commander-in-chief. Sure. They're utterly disappointed in the politicization of the military that they've seen under Obama. They need to be reminded that under Hillary Clinton, it'll only get worse, and she's not a big fan of the military.
Sure. She was a big fan of the Iran deal, and of course, she started it. The more we learn about it, it's like...
What a disaster.
It is a disaster, and of course, yesterday, you saw it live here on the Fox News channel. The President of the United States was talking about how that $400 million was not a ransom, and yet, over on our sister network, Fox Business, Trish Regan sat down with Pastor Abedini, who said, okay, I'm not going to get into anything other than tell you what the Iranians told me. And that was, we can't take off in this plane, and the pilots had been there for hours, until the plane with the cash gets here.
An unmarked plane.
Right, exactly. Here's the pastor. Listen to this.
They told us, you're going to be there for 20 minutes, but it took like hours and hours. We slept at the airport, and when I asked them why you don't let us go, because the plane was there, pilot was there, everyone was ready that we leave the country, they said we are waiting for another plane, and until that plane doesn't come, we never let you go.
That seems like a swap, doesn't it?
Look, it's ransom money. It not only was ransom, but it was laundered money. I mean, they take U.S. dollars, they change them into Swiss francs, load them onto pallets, and put them in an unmarked plane. Now, Obama promises the most transparent government in history. Well, we haven't had it. We've had the most opaque government in history and the most dishonest government. And this is really an outrage to give the Iranians anything. This is money that is going to go to Hamas and Hezbollah to kill people all over the world.
The president acts like anybody who doesn't buy into his storyline is not a serious person or something. That's silly. That they just think this is like a spy movie. Or even with Donald Trump. Oh, you mean the election is rigged? What is that supposed to mean? Well, there are a lot of Americans that think that might be the case.
Well, we saw the Democratic Party election basically rigged. Bernie was right. Yeah. I mean, there was no way anybody was going to beat Hillary. We now know by the leaked DNC emails it was all an insider's game. The superdelegates, it was rigged. And so, sure, people are cynical about it.
Right, and it was rigged. That's why so many people got fired in the last week.
And probably some more should have. Some should have never been hired. Look, this is a very, very incredibly important election because it's not just about Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. The difference between which direction this country goes, Supreme Court, EPA, all of those agencies that regulate people every day. Forget about what these guys say. Think about who they're going to surround themselves with. Think about the basic philosophical direction they're going to take this country and the world, and you've got a clear choice to make.
Ed Rollins worked for you, and he did a great job with you. He is now doing a super PAC on the side. And he says a lot of people are trying to get through to Donald Trump, and he's not listening because he kept winning. The polls show he was in contention. Now that he's got a double-digit deficit, perhaps, at least 9 points, maybe 14. Do you think now he has the capacity to change gears and begin to listen?
Well, I think he does because he's an executive. He's a business guy. He's been in business before when things started going south, and he had to make some course corrections. So he's got a history of at least having to think through, and that's what I believe is going to happen. He's going to sit down and say, you know, I can't go after these peripheral issues. What is it that caused me to win? I'll tell you, it was not fighting for his pride or for something somebody said about him. It was fighting for the American people. Every candidate in the early stages of running for office, you want to react to stuff. Sure. And you got to shrug it off. You got to say, it's not important. Who cares what some blogger said? Well, let them sit in their pajamas in their parents' basement and worry about it by themselves eating a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Sure. I'm running for president. That's my focus.
There you go. All right. I know you came for the barbecue. I know you came for the barbecue, but you know, we do have Vanilla Ice on. Do you have your guitar? You want to play backup with him?
You know, I was just out there, and they asked me would I like to maybe dance on stage with a band, and I said, get every camera in New York, because if that happens, we're talking viral.
I bet you can dance.
And I'll be hospitalized.
Funny stuff. Thank you, Governor. All right, speaking of the election being rigged, the president says, no way, not going to happen.
Of course the elections will not be rigged. What does that mean?
Well, this morning, Donald Trump responding on Twitter. We're live on the campaign trail in Iowa next.
And carpool karaoke goes.